Dead Art Studios. So we're doing art deep dive today. An abstract expressionist artist, Joan Mitchell. Now, I like my abstract expressionism, but I don't know a lot about Joan's work. So we can read a little bit about her life on WikiArt, and we can look at all the artworks they have for her. I think it's fairly comprehensive. Maybe not all of them, but fairly comprehensive. So join me. Let's settle down, dive onto the screen, and see what we think of Joan's paintings. Right, so when we get Jones herself up, her page, we're faced with this rather cool photograph of her in her later life, I'm guessing. And the things that interest me about this photo of her is, well, she's got a almost like Andy Warhol, isn't it? So maybe he knew, maybe he was like taking something from her. Oh, she's got that fringe and the glasses and the hair down there, and she's got a scarf on with sunglasses, which in itself is arty. She's got a cigarette there at the time required, and yeah, it's just a nice picture of her. It's kind of mysterious, but I guess artists do try to give off a sense of mystery sometimes. Okay, so she was born February the 12th, 1925 in Chicago, but she did spend most of her life in France, I think. She died in 1992 when I was 12 years old, October the 30th in Vetrouillet, terrible French, France. So she's nationality is down as French-American, but she seemed very much as an American artist, I think, in terms of, I think, like MoMA and stuff, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and that sort of like have taken it as their own. So art movement, abstract expressionism, and abstract art. There we go. We can read a little bit about her life. So she was a second generation abstract expressionist painter and printmaker. Now the first generation, where I think we're thinking here, Jackson Pollock, Rothko, William de Kooning, a bit earlier than this, probably more around the time she was born rather than, when she was a bit older. It's probably already well established. Much of her career took place in France, along with Lee Krasner, Grace Hartigan, and Helen Frankenthaler. She is one of the era's few female painters to gain critical and public acclaim. It's part of the American abstract movement, really. I don't know what the French were doing in France. Was she there doing the American stuff in France? Or was there other French people there doing that kind of stuff? I mean, Picasso was still going then, so, interesting to think of these people living parallel and side by side and doing all the different things. So she was born in Chicago, and she wanted to study at the Hans Hofmann School in New York, it's art school. But according to Jane Livingston in a 2002 essay, she attended one class and declared, "I couldn't understand a word he said, so I left, terrified," which is kind of funny, but also understandable. And she travelled to France in 1948, and also Spain and Italy, where it was exhibited in a landmark 9th Street show alongside that of Jackson Pollock, William de Kooning, and Hans Hofmann, but they must have been going for a while by then. By the early 1950s, Mitchell was regarded as a leading artist in the New York school. In her early years as a painter, she was influenced by Van Gogh, Paul Cézanne, Vasily Kandinsky, and later Franz Klein and Willem de Kooning, amongst others. So, but Van Gogh and Cézanne is pretty most of the artists around that time definitely taking something from those guys. Mitchell married an American publisher, and then they got divorced, and then she had a tumultuous relationship with the Canadian painter Jean-Paul Riopel, who I know nothing about and really must look up at some point. They maintained separate homes and studios, but had dinner and drank together daily. They first lived in Paris and then moved to the west town of Vethuil. I mean, that could be not even remotely close to the correct pronunciation. Near Giverny, Claude Monet's home. Very nice. So that's an interesting relationship, isn't it? Separate homes, separate studios, but meeting for dinner and drink together daily. I like the sound of it. I think in later life, that kind of relationship where you get to be independent but still have someone is interesting. Something as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realise that maybe love isn't being glued to each other all the time. Paintings are expansive, so they're big, like most modern and contemporary artists. You got to paint big, often covering two separate panels or more, from what I've seen. And the landscape, let's say the landscape around it, was the primary influence of the subject matter, and painted on unprimed canvas, a bit like Francis Bacon, or white ground. So that's just a kind of primer in itself, really, isn't it? Rather than gesso, just the ground is it's a bit more gritty than gesso. With gestural, sometimes violent brushwork, right? So we'll be looking for that. And her paintings are highly expressive and emotional. Between 1960 and 1964, she moved all away from her all-over style and bright colours of her earlier compositions, instead using some sombre hues and central masses of colour. I've had a quick sneaky peek at her work. I'm not sure I agree with that. The marks on these works were said to be extraordinary. The paint flung and screwed to the canvas. Now, the one problem we do have is we're looking at it on the computer, and these massive artworks with big chunks of paint that have dried and dripped are definitely going to look about 1,000 times more impressive in real life. I think I have seen some of her paintings in MoMA. I even think we have, they're not on this selection of works, but I do think we have some. Took a photo of her works when I was in MoMA, and we printed it out and put it in my bedroom. Or bedroom office, shall we say. So here's like a highlight reel of her works, but if we go down to the bottom, we can view the 63 that they have in chronological order. So we can just go through, check out each one, and look at her life's work, basically. There might be a few omissions, but it's not bad. So Untitled, 1950. Let's start there. Zoom in a bit. Let's get the information on the side as well. So, 1950, Abstract Expressionism, early career New York, 1948 to 58. What do I think to it now? Having just previously looked at a sneaky peek at her work, I think I struggle with Joan's early work, but she's establishing herself, she's finding her way, and quite frankly, looking at my own work, I don't think I've really got any leg to stand on in struggling with it, other than if I'm putting her on the same pedestal as her peers at the time, then maybe I'm struggling with it. So the first thing I notice is the reds, but actually the majority of the work is actually neutral hues and slight yellows and greys, isn't it? There's a very nice piece of yellow here, and this is, to me, seems figurative almost, or like a busy street viewed from, as if you're on a balcony or something looking down. These here look like heads, and I do like the colours. They've got slightly Mondrian-esque, the yellows, the reds and the blues, I suppose the primaries, And it also gives me a slight feeling of some of Picasso's work, his bullfighting type stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. It's a good start. It's a good start, Joan. And let's see where it goes next, really. We've got 60 paintings to go through, so we don't want to hang around too long. So this one here, Untitled 1951. So it seems to be bringing them out one a year. Now this seems very similar, should we say. Similar ideas. The reds, the yellows, the blues. The greys in the background are darker and stronger. And the centre here, the composition seems to push in a one-point perspective almost up to this point here, where it's meeting and coagulating. Now, I wouldn't say that these brushstrokes at the moment feel violent. I'd say this is quite segmented and organised and almost filled in, like a bit like colouring in something. It seems less layered. There's not a lot of negative space per se. It's all very full and busy. Okay, let's have a look here. 1951 again. Now this, I think, it's all the same in New York. This is more regimented. It's up and down. There's verticals. Again, figures in the middle. This nice bit of red and orange down here. Very similar colours again. So she definitely has an idea and is working something. It's like curving here, isn't there? That gives a perspective to it. This is like a sky, a background, some figures here. And here, this could almost be like a Last Supper, or some of these impressionist paintings where they're out in the woods or something. I don't know. I've seen them. It's hard to describe what I mean, but maybe you know. Yeah, here, peeking up into a cloud almost, into a background and a forest, and maybe a touch of cubism. Maybe a touch. Hard to find anyone who hasn't put a bit of Georges Braques and Picasso in there. Now, so the first three, I would say, yeah, but not setting my artistic juices alight quite yet. But this one, City Landscape, this is where I'm starting to think, yes, Joan, yes. Well, these central mass of reds and blacks and yellows, and then these, I don't know, sections here. Could be clouds, could be the top of the landscape. It's very New Yorky, dirty. It's got elements of later sort of feeling that you get from Joan Mitchell, Thingamajigger. It's late at night, isn't it? How can I forget his name? Blackstone here's nice. It's really interesting. Much more condensed in terms of the colour in one area than the others, which were more spread evenly and placed, and a focus of emotion. And then back to some of the earlier stuff. So she had a momentary foray. I mean, this is a bit different. But yes, I would actually say kind of less interesting than her first three, and definitely the last one. Some curvy feels to it. I don't know about that one, Joan. Basquiat. Here we are. How can I forget? I'm an old man now. These things are going to happen. You just have to. You can't get mad with yourself if you're forgetting stuff. I mean, if I'm forgetting stuff like that, I'm clearly undergoing mental breakdown of some kind. It's not my fault. Now this is interesting because it's a bit more sparse. I like the orange over here, the red down here and up here, and then this here is kind of like not a. There's something there, but there isn't. It's interesting. A little square up there. I think this. I loved when people manage to pull off reds like this that just like boom spike out of the picture. And there's a bit of perspective going this way in my mind as well. Back to this orange point from here. Very nice. That is in Crystal British Museum of American Art. Maybe one day I'll get to go and check it out. Now, hemlock. So we got to think nature here. That one's a city landscape, but it says we should be thinking nature. This one feels more naturey. Hemlock. Let's have a look. At first I didn't think I liked it, but actually I kind of do. Very planty. The body of a plant. And you know, when you go out into nature and you look at, you know, if you think about drawing a tree or something, but go and look at the layers of plants and the way it all. There's no lines. It is like penetrating light from behind it, coming through, and yeah, I can see that this movement here, like a tree canopy, and then down here, some on an angle here, like on a hillside. Yes, I'd like to see that one in real life. I imagine that would be far more impressive. Now, ladybug. You're playing a dangerous game, Joan. Saying that it looks like a ladybug, or it is ladybug. Maybe it's a ladybug that got paint on its feet and ran around. I do like it. I like the movement that seems to be going from left to right to me here. Like, these are like forward running figures. Almost like a horse up there. I mean, we're just getting Rorschach on it all, aren't we? It's Rorschach plots. I think I used to think it was called something Rorschach when I was a younger man. Beautiful reds again. Seems to be a theme. Little hits of red. Very nice. Back to some slightly... See these next 4. Let's have a look at these a bit quicker. And see, oh no, it's again, you think you're not looking at anything, and then, because we're just thinking of emotion. I was watching my daughter, who's 5, draw the other day. She took the pencil by the fist and drew a strong scraping circle in the middle of it, and then around a bigger circle, like an eye, like you might draw an eye, a pupil, and then but the ferocity of how she did it, and it didn't look like anything, but you could watch her pouring her emotions from feeling into it, and just the way she was sort of involuntarily moving was, yeah, it makes you think there is something. I mean, if you don't think there's anything to abstract expressionism, I'd urge you to reconsider, because we're talking about moving people's emotions from the mind and via their appendages or arms or their feet or the mouth or whatever, however they're choosing to get the paint down. And it's giving you an insight into their emotional state. Nothing particular to say about that one particularly, but I think what I say in general is, now this one feels a bit more measured, bit blue. I don't know about the colours. For me, the colours are too... I'm a simpleton. I like some bright colours. That's probably too subtle for me. Now, this is a bit more my sort of thing. Here, this nice purples in the middle. What's it saying here? So, I mean, she's an oil painter. Let's just mention that. But, of course, anyone worth metal back then or now is an oil painter. I'm not. I have done oils, but I'm currently acrylics. I was thinking about getting the oils back out again. Yes, more of the... Now I look at it more, I think that Basquiat was looking at this stuff. He definitely knew his art history. Yeah. It's very New York. Abstract expressionism. This one's a bit George went swimming at Barnes Hall, but it got too cold. Interesting. Now this one's delicate. Nice blue up there. Just feel like outside. Something almost Native American feeling about it. It's giving me that, not that it's there, it's just giving me that vibe, like the souls of some Native American people or in that landscape somehow find a way into this painting. Now, Joan, I know that in a bit things start to get spicy. She's definitely getting a bit angrier with her strokes. More like the early ones were more measured, weren't they? And in segments. And this is definitely more just attacking the canvas and getting feelings down, layer over layer, one over the top, rather than spreading it around like the earlier works do. Like this, like these colours down here, this mass over here, these little bits. She's starting to find something. Sometimes it's like archaeology, you're just chipping away at what you're looking for, and it starts to come the new style. Is there anything left in art? That's why I'm dead art, because I think it's probably dead. I'm probably here too late. Don't think I'm going to find the new. Is there the new in painting? Let me know. Nice bit of red. She's keeping her early roots of the red. The green, that particular type of greens are in there a lot as well. These whites down here, interesting. Bit more of the same though, I'd say. Nice, interesting series of sort of metamorphosis slowly emerging and carrying on down here. They do seem to flow from one to the next, don't they? So into 1961 now. I like getting on forward to 10 years later. More delicate colours here. Interesting. These peachy and pink tones. Very nice. Yes. Big blob of green, they might say. But this is a nature one, isn't it? This is like a reed bed, or, like some grasses in a corner, and they're coming out, and the composition's there, and almost the perspective's there, like the way the perspective flows. It's very interesting. She's not really drawing anything, is she? But I do feel like there's perspective in it, if you give it a chance. Just a little rock there or something, and some watery feeling, or something growing out of a wall. You know when plants grow out of walls and you're below them, walking under them? This could be delicate, floral tips up there. Very nice. So 1960, now we're on to Le Chemin des Écoliers. Can I tell you what that means? I cannot. Of course, to be a great artist, it helps if you name things in French or live in France. And if not France, then New York. Everybody else, get in line. Yeah, I like it. The blues, this yellow core. I like the portrait. It's almost like a ratio of a modern mobile phone, that, isn't it? That'd make a good background. I'm not sure you'd find your icons. Might try it. Might take a cheeky screenshot. Now, she is well known for doing panels, triptychs. Here's the first one. Girolata triptych. Don't know what Girolata means. Giro in Italy is like the bike race. Don't know. Now, this, I think, is where we're starting to get interesting now. 3 panels. Composition very interesting. Larger mass in the middle with this little bit of pink, just a little bit. Just a little bit here. The colours are so well tied together. Yes. large mass, smaller mass, the relationship in position, creating some kind of unease in me. Yes, getting very interesting. A lot of negative space as well now. It's very concentrated, slowly leaving negative space. The subtlety of the colour on these unprimed canvases or whatever she's using is very nice. Back to another Untitled. Yeah. Maybe more, back to it earlier, a bit more all over, single mass, some weird, like an eye looking at me. Body, a figure, a chair, something. Does it make me feel anything? Don't know. This is interesting. You know, some paintings might get other people going more than me, and then Grandes Carriers. Now, that just makes me think of Gran Canaria, but totally probably nothing to do with this one. I'm liking now. I'm liking it, Joan. This beautiful purpley blue here, giving us depth, and then we're getting more of this perspective going this way. Chasing, again, a chasing feeling from left to right. These brighter greens are nice, coming out of the darks. So I'm not a big fan of the darker greens sometimes, but minty green in there, and these nice lighter blues pushing forward into this. This is, oof. What is that? It's like a head on the floor, a snout, some hair, and chaos. People stabbing it. Yes, so I think so we started off, let's say where we started off before we move pages. 1950, pretty, with the exception of the city landscape, kind of see, it's all kind of the same, but heading somewhere, isn't it? And then by the time we get down to here, and this triptych, and Grand Carriers, I feel like when we're going to load more, we're going to see things getting real now. Girolata just makes me think of ice cream. Don't know why. Now, this is beautiful. Now, some of these ones, the compositions individually, the vertical compositions remind me of Gustav Klimt's The Kiss, and the way he composed in a very flat, two-dimensional way, sort of taking from some of the Far Eastern, Japanese and Chinese styles of painting where they didn't use 2-point and 1-point perspective so much. It was just laid flat, and I get that feeling from these, and this is very floral feeling to me. Bouquets. 3 similar ones, slightly differently arranged. Very nice. Untitled. Yes. Ultramarines coming in. Seems a bit new, going into these nice light lilacs, mustardy yellows and greens on this side. She's up to something, isn't she? Whatever she's doing, it's a thing. It's not random. Mostly untitled work. Let's be fair. When she said the Ladybug one, you start to second guess it. It kind of makes sense not to title them. Because otherwise she's just representing emotions and things. Like the one where she named a time, the swimming one. That must have been when she did it. And this is nice here, like a highlight, something like the sunlight pushing through over the edge of a solid mass of blue tumour almost. With these nice whites, something on the edges overlapping and pushing from the back, trying to get round it, like a gravitational lensing almost of a galaxy past a large mass, a large black hole. This one's my landscape. It's named, and then it's very different to the others, isn't it? It goes almost back to her early work, but the colours are very different to all her other stuff. Very almost, 1967 feels like a new era. It feels like a different kind of paint. It's very watery. It almost feels like it's acrylic, but it is oil. It's got a different vibe altogether, but using maybe some of the styles up here are very early works with the segments and the sections all, rather than it being piled on top. And these nice, interesting blues down here. That one I'd like to see in real life. Well, I'd like to see them all, but that might have more to offer. But now, I think these next three and beyond, things are she's turning into a master. Look at this. What's this up here? What's this hanging, just suspended in nowhere? And this beautifully off-white canvas, which must be so much harder to do than you'd think when you set out to do it. And then this massive, writhing colour down here. The composition, the way the top, the middle, and the bottom are pushed against each other, this space here, that's almost like a floating jellyfish, isn't it? Floating, you see, it's giving a feeling of floating here, and then a sea floor, and then I don't know, something on top, maybe breaking out just over the water's crest here, and something up there. Oh, gorgeous, that one. This one, we've got the Gustav Klimt style composition again, Kiss almost. Up on the left, beautiful colours. Some of this new style of painting from a couple of the paintings ago, and then some of her layered styles. She's merging some new ideas together. This blue at the background here with the yellows on top. Very nice. Same again over here. I'd have any of these three if you were going to have a few spare quid. This little here, just zoning off this area. Don't come in here. Stay away. Down here, almost like a little saucepan on a hob. And then chaos in the kitchen. Chip pan fire. Caught the curtain. Up here. Beautiful painting. Love these colours. Still got a greeny and a reddy and a blue. It all links back. I'm going to try and remember that development. Sometimes I think I'm flipping from thing to thing. This is a metamorphosis and a continuation, isn't it? Diablo and Neige et fleurs. Now, all I know is that means fleurs is flowers. So, and she just talk about dying sunflowers, like her artwork would be like a dying sunflower or a scared young girl or something. I seem to remember that's paraphrasing, but yeah, look at this very light green here and these dark masses. This down here, at the bottom, like a load of small tiny crowd. And yeah, but I think that is just floral. You can almost see it, can't you? Here. I don't know what flowers are like that, but this here, and it's almost like the vase is missing, and then the flowers are drooping and dying over the side, and some petals have fallen off or something. I should probably drink my cocoa. Hope you're enjoying this. I need to keep it under an hour though, I think. So let's crack on a bit. Little trip. So is this some kind of triptych or is it an actual trip? Well, there's more than three, so. But it is a central triptych with a bit on either side there. Yet again, these bits of red. It's not the best image quality on that one, so we'll just skip past that. Low water. Interesting. And this has got almost like colour fields in it, a bit like our friend Rothko, but in more smaller patches. This down here, it's nice. I think so far these three here are like peak Mitchell at the moment. So we've reached peak, and then this is like still kind of peak, and then the triptych and that, and then we're heading. It's just not hitting me as hard. But she's trying something else. She's moving on. So where do we get to? Low water we did. What's this one all about? This looks like another planty one. Nature. Planting a blue pot, something coming up. Very intense. But I prefer this style here, which relates back to a lot of earlier work. I'm actually preferring this stuff more. This is more exciting to me. Because it's less scribbly. This could be considered scribbly. This is masterful colour use if I've ever seen it. Oh, just look at it. It's ultimate, complementary, amazing, blended beautifulness. Look at these colours. Mid-career. Better crack on then if you want to keep it in 100 hours. It's on linen. I need to try painting on linen. Mooring. Oof, we're getting there now. We're back to peak. Look at that. Now that is a mooring there. Look, there's some water going that way. We're going that way maybe. It reminds me, we've got a bit of Venice vibes. I don't know. Sun setting over here. The colours are beautiful. I like how the drips give it a sense of the vertical. And she's using the vertical elsewhere as well. The vertical seems to be more marked and following through more than the horizontals are, which is interesting as well. This is like the one I've got upstairs, but ours is more yellowy. Think trees. I think you're supposed to think trees and forests with these repeating individual bodies of life. Anyway, I think that's what you need to be thinking. The colours don't excite me as much. Blue territory. A bit like Vasily Kandinsky's Blue Rider, maybe. Similar blue. And then the way that probably made from the same paint and then just laid on. This is really successful for me. This is a bit mad. This is cool as well. Blue territory. And then 1973, Untitled, more very portraity, very Klimty, verticals, very good for your mobile phone. Cheeky, I might screenshot that in a bit. Shh. Gorgeous colours. This little bit of black here, very clever. Somehow just make sure I flit around like bump, 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 like a little metronome, and then up here. What's this? Nice, 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 and then bump, 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 bump. Then down here a groin, a throbbing groin, some redness. Bump, 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 bump. Very nice. Now, she's going full nature. I think this is what happens once you've done the ultimate colour work. You start to look at nature around you and its patterns. But to me, less exciting than Untitled 1973 and less exciting than the Sunflower 3 and the other Untitled work there. these solid masses. This one, however, let's have a look at posted. I mean, it's nice. It is. I can see it. It's good, but for me, it's not up there with the previous stuff. I mean, I'm not really here to rank it. I'm just kind of saying what I'm vibing. This I do like a tumbleweedy plant, very dense and impenetrable and horrible in the middle, like a crazy pineapple. And then these nice greens coming out of it, and see a little bit of yellow in the background, the light coming through. That is a plant. I'm a fan of gardening. These yellows are gorgeous as well. That one's probably one of them more, out of these. I think that's more successful to me. La vie en rose, the life of a rose. Now this, look at those colours, masterpiece colour work. How they complement each other. How that looks. I think some of Tracy Emin's, like a recent picture of Christ. I think this is the backgrounds and the way she's laid the paints very similar, actually. Interesting. Love to see that in real life. These little blocks. Yes, she's back again. She's back. This one. This is very like what we've got in our bedroom as well. So I think that one's missing. I have looked at other artists and they haven't got every single piece they've done on here. I suppose they've got to have access to all the photos and things. Love the colours. More nature, I think. More landscapes, more chaos. Salut, Tom. See, like the other purple one, these are amazing, these ones. I think if you looked at the first three paintings, you'd question her status as like a sort of modern master. But I think when you're looking at these, there's nothing here that's less impressive than Rothko. I mean, Rothko is so pure, but this is almost more. There's more to it. But it's not the pure emotion just of one thing, a monosyllable of emotion that maybe Rothko is. Like literally looking at an emotion. There's something. It's representing something outside of the body. Amazing. Minnesota, that is next. More awesomeness. Look at the way the one follows on from the other. Boom, boom, boom. The last one is interesting because it's just kind of by itself. And then poof, a big wall again. Big wall, a full stop, and no way in. They're moving from left to right as well. I keep thinking about the movement from left to right in her work. Do you guys see that? It's black down here. Yes, Minnesota. Salut, Tom. Is it a pinnacle? Is it a pinnacle? Untitled. After the pinnacles, we have got. I mean, for me, it's questionable. But she's searching again, isn't she? Look at these. The more you look at it, this coming out here, she's searching again. Adrita Freud, Freudian slip of Freud, maybe. More awesomeness. These multi-panels work really well, don't they? To represent nature. And then again, like a big change at the end. Like boom, 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 all three matching and then boom, go away. Like a edge of a forest fire. They're amazing as well. I'm loving Joan now. I'm starting to see. She's sitting here doing this deep dive. Let's see how much further we've got to go. Not too much further. Doing the deep dive tells us why we should do the deep dive. I'm on 46 minutes. Better crack on. Street Fried. That one, we don't know about this one. Let's have a look. Yes. Different to the others, actually. Individual strokes. Feels different. I feel like she's here now, though. We know what she's about. This one as well is going to be awesome, I think we could say. Yeah, the flow, the movement from one to the other, the contrast between them. That's interesting, having two different canvases and letting one inform the other and then force off and play. The colours are amazing, beautifully mixed, so subtle. They don't come out the tube like that. She spent some time finding them and remembering them because they're here from one to the next. This one, River. This is a bit more like her modern-y, like I said before when it was like new and modern. That's kind of similar. Almost reminds me of her very first paintings with the red and the blue and the yellow and the bullfight Picasso vibes, and interesting. She's returning a full circle. Another river. Wow. It'll take me some time to digest that. That feels like it's coming from back to front to me, like she stood on a bridge, and that's the distance. This one. I don't know, maybe there as well. Maybe going that way there's a river. A little beaver or something just there. That one's... I need to process it. It's overwhelming me. And if you call it river, then you need to call it rivière. Is that a river? Also, in French, really should get the Duolingo out on French. Bracket. The subtlety of the colours. The triptych again. For me, not firing as hard as the earlier ones. We're at 1989 now. I'm 9 years old. I'm not really aware of modern art other than Barbara Hepworth's statue that she carved that got plonked in my hometown, and we'd all gawk at, question why it was there. I'm glad it was. This is amazing. Look at this little central body of colour here in the border. And these horizontal blocks of colour. Champs. Isn't that somewhere in France? And Picasso used to go there on holiday. Is this the sea and the coast? And kind of what it reminds me of. Could be making all that up. Sunflowers. I'm looking at the next one, trees already. Okay, sunflowers. Not sure it's peak. Trees, though, is looking like more my style. Look at that. Oh my god. The smooth, blurry forest up and down in blues and reds, the foulest colours. It's just getting the same original colours, isn't it? The red, the blue, and the yellow. It's all there. And green. She keeps it. A blue and yellow, and a bit of green, and a bit of purple. It's all there. Yes. Loving it. That would be nice to look at, especially if it's gigantic. Does it say how big it is? 2.2 meters. Oh no. 220 centimeters, yeah. So 2 meters by 4 meters. So 2 2-meter pans. They're massive. That must be something to look at. More trees. We're nearly at the bottom. Yeah, we've got these last 5. So she's getting old now, bless her. Loving this as well. The frame 1, frame 2, boom, 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 boom. The back and forth bouncing again is there. This little bit of yellow is not there, and this is here. People could say that anyone could do this, but if we sit down and look at the progression, you can see that she's been on a journey of discovery herself, and it from one to the next, there's a chain of thought. You can tell independently, maybe somebody could just fluke that, but it's the going from one to the next. I see. Icky. I see. 1992. I think it's one of the, every now and again she's trying something and it doesn't fit in with the others and it's leaving me. Then she's painting a circular one. I am never going to paint a circular painting, I don't think. I don't know why, but for me, it's somewhere I don't want to go. It's like a crazy Christmas bauble and you're looking through it and there's all sorts of reflections in the middle and stuff, like you're looking through. Interesting. The last two, this one here, Mercy, thank you. What, yes, loving it. Orange and this in here, and this blue and these dark bits at the back, giving it depth. And the way it just sits on the angle and drips down, and the perspective going that way, and then this mass body, something, and then this monster face and body jumping up into the air like a dog when it's jumping at a gate. Bah, bah. This is very beautiful. The last one. It'd be nice to know a bit more about the history about her later life and whether she was ill and painting or whether she was just banging on like normal and don't think anything's wrong and she just went, bless her. That's what I'd be interested to know, whether she was doing this while barely being able to move. Artists' last paintings are difficult. I'm not going to say anything about it. There we go. There we have it. Joan Mitchell. Let me know, what did you think? I enjoyed the journey. Some beautiful, amazing paintings in there. I'd love to see them in a big, full-sized, super impressive ways. Definitely inspiring. I could do more artists. There's loads of artists on ArtWiki. I mean, Picasso, he's got 1,000 on there. Take us a few episodes to do that one too. Anyway, let me know if there's another one that you think I should do. Probably do Gustav Klimt. One of my faves. Dead Art Studios. See you later.